We are going to follow Lily. She's going to give you all the explanation about the production of sugarcane because we already harvested. We prepare the land, we harvested, and now comes the second part. And after that, we are going to have a ride in a very old steam train from the colonial time. This one.
Llévalo ahí. Puro.
In here we have, from the 17th century, how we produce sugar those times. The sugar, a kind of honey, molasses. Okay? So we use it without, we could squeeze the sugar cane using the trapiche. There's no translation because it's an African word. Trapiche. Some kind of, column, wooden one, and the slave or the cows used to push in order to squeeze the sugar cane. That was the way. Before it was not 3 cups of sugar. Just to sweeten anything, but focus on syrup, molasses. That's how it was during the 17, 18. After the Industrial Revolution, with the introduction of the steam train, the condition of working changed. So we don't use anymore. The cows or the slave pushing to squeeze the sugar cane. We use, the steam train to take the sugar cane cutting and harvest the plantation onto this place. We used to use a modern technology. Okay, that's why we begin calling that part ingenios. Trapiches is a primitive way, and ingenio a modern way. Okay, everything you have already the shipping, the train, steam train like this one. So that means that those are modern times. Sugarcane plantation onto the trapiche, using horses or cows. Okay, oxen. That's it. This is the original one. In this part we are going to turn all pieces of sugarcane into the conveyor. The conveyor is going to take them to that first part. There we have some big hammer and cutter, or knife, like cutter, in charge of cutting into small pieces, the sugarcane brought from the country. The sugarcane arrived here, it's 24 hours without stopping. The sugarcane there was sweet, yes or no? Yes. And I told you, it's sweet, but it's acid, because the pH is very high. That's why we have to accelerate the process, otherwise we are going to begin facing a fermentation process. And at the very end, the juice is going to be acid, good for nothing. Okay? So that's why we can stop. Let's go to the third part. Any machine that can be broken or have any problem during the process, when the rain comes, we stop. And that's the moment when we begin preparing everything and leave everything ready for them. Here begins the squeezing process. Here we have a group of 5 mills. Okay, big mills in charge of squeezing the sugar cane. So this part is open. So there is another part on top, but they leave it like this for you to see where we are going to have the juice and where we are going to have the fiber. After the first meal, we are going to have the juice down, and in the upper part we are going to have the fiber. And there is 2, 3, 4 until 5 meals in charge of squeezing the sugar cane. At the very end we are going to have one part the juice, and in the other part dry fiber. And one part we are going to prepare a kind of mess to produce paper. Toilet paper, notebooks, all those things you can see here in Cuba. So we have some brought from abroad, but we prepare or produce paper in here, carton, all those things. And another part to prepare the land and fertilize. Here we have the juice and the fiber. The fiber to the oven. Here we got the fiber, and down we have the juice. Fiber to the oven, juice to the other part. We are going to beat it now. Remember, we have closed many sugar mills, so you don't need to bring most. I mean, the technology is so outdated because we are producing just for us. Then we are going to add some lime to the juice. Lime. Otherwise, during the whole process that takes 24 hours, we are going to have a fermented juice at the end. So we have to add lime, and it's going to neutralize the pH. After that, we are going to pump the juice already neutralized, okay, to this heater. Then we are going to boil the juice at very, very high temperature. And then, very hot, we are going to pump it into that container called clarifier. And there, the clarifier is going to separate the clear juice from these impurities. The clear juice already that we got there as a result, we are going to pump it to that container, very high temperature. We call it molasses. That's the first element, the most important raw material of sugar cane. There are countries, for instance, that only buy molasses. So from that, they can take advantage of everything and they can produce sugar, alcohol, and many things. Okay? So that's the main part of the sugar cane producing process. There, they're going to spin very high speed until it begins separating the crystal with no form, no shape, and a kind of honey. And that crystal, we are going to take them to the centrifuge. And it's there where we are going to separate and give form to the crystal. It's there where we are going to have a kind of liquid, we call it vinaza. That liquid is the one we are going to use as fertilizer, but also to produce alcohol. So as you can see, we use everything out of a sugar cane. You are going to have a souvenir after finishing this part. There are two bottles of rum made out of sugar cane, okay, mulata.